The Titan camera is dead. Today I will show you and explain all the secrets hidden in the new episode 67 part 2 of Skibidi Toilet. Perhaps you didn't notice, but the battle between Skibidi scientists versus the talking titan and camera has begun. They have demonstrated their true and new abilities, new powers, new weapons, and Skibidi Toilet has returned. In this video, I will explain everything that happened and what truly happened to the Titan camera. Is it finally dead for good? What happened to the brave cameraman? Will the Titan television return? If you want to know all this and more, stay until the end of the video. If you enjoy this type of content, I invite you to leave a like and subscribe to bring you more content like this. The Titan camera has killed itself. In the new episode 67 part 2 of Skibidi Toilet, we saw at the beginning the same thing that happened at the end of part number 1, where the Titan camera threatened the Skibidi scientist that he would die today and his head would be cut off. However, what he didn't know is that this would indeed happen, but a bit differently. The talking titan quickly rose into the sky, and with his improved arm cannon, he shot at the face of the Skibidi scientist. However, it seemed that this didn't harm him at all, and the scientist responded with a shot from the cannon he had next to his eye. This shot seemed to have reached the talking titan a bit, but he managed to dodge it in time. While all this was happening, the Titan camera took advantage of the distraction to approach the Skibidi scientist and attack him with his new circular saw arm. However, the scientist covered himself just in time with his metallic arms and shot the Titan camera again with the cannon he had next to his eyes. After this, he activated the power of the speakers in his body to push the Titan camera back, causing him to fall to the ground and explode a bit. But this was also seized by the Titan camera, who lunged behind the Skibidi scientist with a knife in hand and managed to stab him in the cannon he had next to his eyes. This damaged this weapon, but the Skibidi scientist, using his arms, managed to throw him forward and get rid of the talking titan. However, what they didn't know was that the scientist had a hidden weapon, which was an additional arm with a rocket launcher with toxic acid, which he shot at the talking titan, who had to quickly defend himself with his right arm. This caused the acid to destroy the cannon of the Titan's arm, leaving him practically unarmed as he now has no more cannons. He used the laser beam shot from the reactor in his chest and aimed directly at the acid cannon of the Skibidi scientist, causing all the acid to fall on part of the Skibidi's face. He also aimed this same beam at his eyes. However, the Skibidi scientist had another weapon, which was a laser cannon in another new arm, which he fired directly at the reactor in the chest of the talking titan. This caused him to fall to the ground, causing massive explosions and wounds. Once again, the Titan camera took advantage of the distraction and threw himself to his side, and using his new circular saw, cut off this new laser weapon from the Skibidi scientist. Little by little, they are disarming and weakening the Skibidi scientist. However, they are also receiving great damage. We even saw how the Skibidi scientist had part of his face burned by the acid. The scientist, using his metallic arms, pushed the Titan camera aside and was about to stab him with these same pincers, but quickly the camera aimed his circular saw at the chest of the Skibidi scientist. Therefore, the Skibidi had to use the power of sound from his speakers to push the camera aside. All of this happened in a matter of seconds. The Skibidi scientist pulled out another additional arm with another toxic acid weapon, but at that moment, the brave cameraman appeared and destroyed that weapon with a single blow. He moved so fast that the scientist couldn't do anything. He hit against the speakers on his chest, and when he was about to hit him in the face, the Skibidi scientist used the power of sound from his speakers to stop the brave cameraman in front. The power of sound made him stay still in the air, and this strong sound made the cameraman's point of view a bit blurry for a moment. The Skibidi scientist took advantage of this situation, and with his left red eye, he shot a laser beam at the brave cameraman. This caused him to fall heavily to the ground and explode. Is this the end of the brave cameraman? For the second time, he received a tremendous blow from a giant villain, and this could mean he dies again. A curious fact is that the last time this happened was in episode 57, and now it's episode 67. There seems to be a certain relationship between episodes ending in the number 7. Interestingly, the Titan camera lunged at the Skibidi scientist with his circular saw and attacked him directly in his red left eye, causing great damage to the Skibidi scientist. He was screaming in pain, and at that moment, the true Skibidi toilet came to his aid. This individual has been enhanced again. He now has an additional laser cannon in the center of his chest, sunglasses to protect himself from the power of television men, and 2 laser beams on the sides of these glasses. Due to previous battles, he can no longer shoot lasers from his eyes, and now these laser beams replace that power he had in his eyes. Skibidi toilet shot his 3 laser beams from his body directly at the legs of the Titan camera, causing him to fall to the ground and stop his attack on the Skibidi scientist. This was seized by the scientist, and from his mouth he pulled out a kind of claw that he threw at the head of the Titan camera, managing to tear off a protective lens that the camera has had all this time to avoid being affected by the powers of television men. Surely this is a protective lens that they placed on him while they were repairing and improving him in the secret base of the Cameraman. This claw that the Skibidi scientist pulled out of his mouth looks like what the Skibidi parasites have, as we saw in episode number 30. While this was happening, the Titan camera took the opportunity to destroy the speakers on the chest of the Skibidi scientist. In addition to having his left eye damaged, this caused all the speakers on his chest to fall, revealing that all this time, behind those speakers, the Skibidi scientist had a giant screen that he surely tore off from some television man or even the Titan TV man. This is the explanation of why all this time the Skibidi scientist has been able to use the teleportation powers of television men. Now that this has been revealed, the Skibidi scientist used the power of the red light from the television man against the Titan camera since he no longer had his protective lens. The POV cameraman quickly took out a protective lens from his pocket and put it on the camera on his head. However, the Titan camera was not so lucky. Here we understand the true reason why the Skibidi and everything related to him wore these sunglasses, because he already knew the secret power of the hidden television that the Skibidi scientist had, and this red light power did not affect him. If we remember a long time ago in episode 41, the Titan television had this red light power which caused all his enemies to be forced to kill themselves, and exactly this power is what the Skibidi scientist is using right now against the Titan camera. This caused the cameraman to raise his circular saw arm and cut his own head, thus ending episode 67. We don't know exactly if the Titan camera has just died because the image was cut off prematurely, but what we managed to see is that explosions started to occur in the head of the Titan camera and something was detaching, so it is most likely that he lost his head and died in the process. Therefore, everything indicates that the Titan camera has finally died. However, this does not mean that all is lost. Remember that in previous episodes, cameramen have lost their heads because some Skibidi with a circular saw has cut them off, but the medical cameras have managed to revive them by reattaching their heads to their bodies. Therefore, they could do the same with the Titan camera to revive him. However, he is at a great disadvantage now, because if the Titan camera finishes cutting off his head completely, he will be dead at the feet of the Skibidi scientist and Jet Toilet. Meanwhile, the Talking Titan is practically unarmed and injured. The only way they can save themselves from this terrible situation is by receiving help from the Titan television, who should return to save us. Therefore, the only options left are that the Titan camera has finally died, or he was saved just in time by the Titan television, who would return to join his fellow Titans and defeat the evil Skibidi toilet once and for all. If there was at least one secret in this video that you didn't know about Skibidi Toilet, I challenge you to like the video right now and subscribe and hit the bell to be one of the first to see all of this. I am Jorge Isaac 115. See you in the next video, friends. Greetings to everyone and goodbye.